Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, I'm Krista Shaylin. I'm a mom to a 1-year-old as well as a wife to a mechanical engineer. And if you're not new here, well, hey, welcome back. I'm super glad to have you. I post every Wednesday and Friday and occasional Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, know when I'm posting next. I'm super glad to be here today and chit-chatting with you because today is my monthly book talk. If you're new here, I read raunchy romance novels. That's kind of my genre. I do dabble in a few others, but that's typically my thing. I just really enjoy a good romance novel with some spice. So if you're into that, I'm gonna give you my more in-depth recommendations. I do update my Instagram all the time with what I'm reading, like after I finish reading. I put a small little tidbit review on there, and those are saved in my highlights if you need any recommendation at any given time. This month I read 16 books. The 16 books, 1, 2, 3 of them were series books, so I have some series and then I have some standalones depending on what you're into. I will put the cover here because I do read on my Kindle. Most, except for 1 or 2 books this month, were all the rest were Kindle Unlimited. I do have a Kindle Unlimited account, so I do like to use it. I'm sorry if you guys don't have Kindle Unlimited. Most of the time it just benefits me. It's $10 a month and I read as much as I want, and they typically have really great stories and a lot of stories in that queue, I guess. Like, a lot of people like to use Kindle Unlimited for it, so I totally recommend Kindle Unlimited. I know that a lot of the books are kind of more focused for Amazon only, so I'm sorry about that, but they are totally worth the read and totally worth getting Kindle Unlimited for like 3 months for free if you haven't already used your free trial, and maybe reading some of them. Just a thing. You don't need the Kindle Unlimited, or you don't need a Kindle to use Kindle Unlimited. You can use it on any app in your store, so if you read on your iPhone, whatever. Anywho, so to the review. My first book was Hotel O. That was written by Clarissa Wilde, I believe. Clarissa Wilde. Anyway, book cover here, spice level and recommendation here. Hotel O is with a girl named Kat and a guy named Declan, and they are they meet through a sex website. Like, that's what they're there for, and they know it's there for. They kind of like do that, and it's all like kind of anonymous, so they don't know who they're talking to, XYZ. Kat is a journalist, and Declan is the main event coordinator for this hotel, and he plans events for kind of like a BDSM party get together for really elite people, so it all stays anonymous. And so he's really into his job and really loves his job and doesn't want anything to hinder his job. And as well as Kat, because she is a journalist, she kind of wants to get into this when she figures out who Declan is. But there's a lot more to the plot. It's kind of more a lot of smut with a very small plot line. I feel like the plot is not super thick until the very like end, but if you want more smut, that's kind of what that's for. I didn't mind it. Really quick read, so do with that what you will. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it was like my mediocre one. The next one is 3-book series, American Queen, American Prince, and American King. This is with Greer, Embry, and Ash. Ash is the president of the United States. Embry is his vice president. And then Greer is the former vice president's granddaughter who ends up marrying Ash. All 3 of them have love for each other. So Embry loves Greer and Ash. Ash loves and marries Greer and loves Embry, and they all have like an intermingled like plot line. This book does go back and forth from so the entire first book is written in Greer's point of view. The second one is Embry's, but it does change point of view. And then the third book is written for Ash's point of view, but it also does change into like Greer and maybe a little bit of Embry's point of view. I can't fully remember on that. But this series I thought was going to be more for... It's called the New Camelot series, so I thought it was going to be more geared towards what like the Kennedys, because that was like their theme, the Camelot, but it's not. It's kind of more actually towards Camelot series like King Arthur. So it kind of all intertwines and mingles, and it's very interesting. The ending crushed me. I ugly cried for the ending. It also is, not only does it change point of views for reading between different characters, it also time travels a lot, meaning like it goes back in time to get some more backstory as well as present time, so you have to kind of keep up with like the story on that. Otherwise than that, it was a decently well written book. I think I'm gonna change what I recommended on Instagram versus here. I think now that I've read it and had digested it a little bit more, I think I like the story more than I actually reviewed it for. I was kind of a little mad at the ending, so I think I gave it a little less. I think I'm gonna update my Instagram version, so if you're a part of my Instagram, that's why it got updated. The next series was The Sinners. I think the series is called like Sinners at Hawthorne University, and it's a 3-book series. It's When Sinners Play, How Sinners Fight, and What Sinners Love. This is a reverse harem with Sophie, Gray, Declan, and Elias. If you don't know what a reverse harem is, it is one girl heroine and at least 3 guys, and she doesn't pick a guy at the end to have her happy ending. This book series was like really low in my opinion. I did not like it. Oh, not that I didn't like it, it was a really quick read, very predictable, and the plot was kind of just minimal for me. It was highly recommended by several different people, so it's not like it wasn't recommended. I just think I was ruined by the Madison Kate series and the Sainthood series. Those were just so thick in plot and so thick in like love different people, and I just think that that's what ruined these stories for me, because the plot wasn't super thick. The books seemed rushed. They were quick reads. They were only like 400 pages, if that, on the Kindle, so I'm not sure how thick those books actually end up being in real life. But they didn't take very long to read. They had great cliffhangers, and that's why I kept reading on, because you kind of wanted to know how it ended. But for a reverse harem, I'm also looking for more love with each of them, where I feel like she favored Gray too much, and I feel like they could have, it was supposed to be a bully romance, enemies to lovers, so like it was just kind of disappointing that she just fell in love with them so fast, and wasn't, she just like, they bullied her and she's like, okay, I do love you. I'm more of like, no, like, if you're gonna bully somebody, like, at least be like, no, I hate this guy, like, and then genuinely finally fall in love with them. That's why I feel like the series was super rushed, in my opinion. The next one was the 365 Days. If you haven't seen the movie, it's a Netflix movie. The book came out first, but it was only in Polish. The book just got translated into English this year. The book, I felt like there's a lot of hate towards this book. Like, there's the reviews are like 1 star. Reviews for a lot of people, they just don't like the Stockholm syndrome and like the rapey feels towards it, and that's okay. Like, I enjoyed the book because I kind of like was more comparing and contrasting towards the movie. There's a lot of different stuff from the movie to the book. The book had more intense stuff that I feel like could have added more to the plot. It was a little mosh posh at some points in the book, but I feel like I fell in love with different characters more so than if I watched just the movie. The Massimo and Laura's love relationship, I think, developed better in the movie than in the book, but I feel like Massimo's character developed better in the book than in the movie. The ending of the movie didn't make sense with the book. The book had a better ending for the leading up for the second book. I also genuinely thought the certain scenes in the book made more sense to what the movie was missing out on some things. This was not on KU. I did buy it. I did want to know the hype behind it, but again, the nice thing about books is something that's for you might not be for me, and what's for me might not be for you. So that's a great thing about opinions and recommendations. Like, I thought it was fine. Like, I would have given it like 3.5 stars, 4. If you've seen my recommendations, it's 15 out of 10 is my highest, which would be almost like a 5-star. Where like 10 out of 10 would be like 3.5 stars. I still recommend it, but it's not like my, oh my god, you have to read list. It's like, if you have nothing better to read and you need a book, here's a recommendation. Like, it's still good, like I enjoyed it, but it's not like the top of my list. The next book is Hello Stranger. Oh my god, this book tore me to pieces. I ugly cried so hard in this book. It is with Chloe and Logan. It is an age gap relationship, which I don't have a problem with age gap relationship as long as it's consensual and everybody's of age. So with that being said, she's like 20 something, he's like 40, I think, or 38, like almost pushing 40. So if that bothers you, that's your knockoff right there. But he is a doctor and she is a nurse in his wing to come out, and they meet on the train going to work, and he's just like, their love in their relationship and how it blossoms and what happens with them is just magical and emotionally draining. If you want, just, I think what made me love this book so hard is that it's reality. It's not I don't know, like sometimes when you read romance novels, obviously nothing's perfect. Like, life doesn't get that perfect. Life is messy. Life has issues and life has consequences and life has things. This book is that. Life is messy for them. Life has problems and life has issues, and they work through it, and like the relationship comes together. And like I said, I ugly cried so hard, and like thinking about it just makes me like love them. I love their characters, and being in their world was amazing and so true. So I highly recommend that one. And again, I think I put that as like a 13 out of 10. I should have put it as a 15 in my opinion, because it was that good. The next 5 books are part of a series. It's a 3-book series. Then they have like a 1.5, which obviously follows the first one, and it's like more of a bonus scene. It's like 30 pages or so. And then the 3.5, which is like the 5th book, is like a full novella book, which is like, again, Kindle pages like 250, 300 pages. And this is the Monsters in the Dark series. This has become my all-time favorite series, and which is weird because like it's a really dark, twisted book. It's with Q and Tess, and the first book starts off with Tears of Tess, then it goes Tears of Tess bonus, then quintessentially Q, and then Twisted Together, and then Tia sous a toy. It's French. Q is French. Q is a Frenchman. Tess is an Australian girl. Her and her boyfriend at the time, Brax, went to Cancun, Mexico. They ended up getting lost off of the beaten path and ended up at this cafe where they wanted a drink before they got going back, and she has intuition like, we should leave, we should go, I should not be here right now. She has this intuition. She tries to get her boyfriend to not do anything, and her boyfriend's like, no, we'll finish our drinks, I have to go to the bathroom. And he doesn't come back from the bathroom. She gets kidnapped into sex trafficking, kidnapped to go into sex trafficking, and goes through all that. Then she is sold to a Russian guy who ends up gifting her to Q. And Q is a French man who is a very wealthy billionaire who gets girls, and I don't want to spoil too much, but so it goes into that, and you find out some things about Q, and then it goes into more of their relationship and how they get back together and has to save. And why I think like I love this book so much is he does everything in his power to save her and love her and just be a part of her, and will do anything, even if that means to keep his darkness at bay. Even though the darkness comes together, they are monsters together with their darkness, and they match each other. It's just kind of a weird, unconventional love story. It has a little bit of Stockholm feels because of her being kidnapped against her will. So a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, but I mean, it is what it is. I genuinely fell in love with both of these characters, and I can't rave about this series enough, and I just don't want to spoil it to you for any further. The other one is Dare. This one is seriously like the shortest book I've ever read in the romance, besides like a novella or something like that. It is with Jessica and Manson, and I think it has like a couple other people. It's not a reverse harem at all. The book takes place within one night. It's a Halloween party night, and Jessica comes back from college to hang out with some people and not get to know, but like it's high School all over again kind of a thing. And Manson comes back, and she's like, what the hell is this guy doing here? He's a weirdo. Like, this is kind of like the popular kids, but apparently the weirdos are involved. It is a BDSM master slave kink. There's group kink, like group sex, knife play. There is a massive trigger warning at the beginning of the book, so make sure that you read it beforehand. If you are into any of that. This was no worse than Den of Vipers. I think Den of Vipers has been my all-time like weirdest crap, so this was like downplayed. They ended up kind of falling for each other in the months of this dare because they were playing beer pong with a dare aspect to it, and it turns into the whole thing for the night. It's a quick read. It's pretty basic, nothing too crazy. It's okay. Number 16 and my final book is Welcome to the Dark Side. It is a standalone in a series, so she has like a bunch of different characters from the Fallen MC group. This is the second book in the series, but I haven't read any of the other ones. I do want to. There's a few other characters that I fell in love with in this book that I want to see their stories. But this is a huge age gap. It is 19 years age gap. She is 17 when they finally get together. This is in Vancouver, so it is legal. Their age of consent is 16. This is based all in Canada. Zeus is the president of the MC, and she is the mayor's daughter, so she's goody good princess, two shoes. They met when she was 7 years old. He saved her life from a shootout that was happening at their church. He goes to prison, they write letters back and forth to each other, totally platonic, very easygoing. It's kind of weird, but at the same time you're just like understanding. She has Hodgkin's lymphoma, so she's like living through cancer, and then it fast forwards to when she's 17, he's like 35, 36, he's 36. So they end up figuring out that they have more than, she grew up, she fell in love with him, he fell in love with her, their relationship comes together. The mayor does not like the MC. There's a bunch of obvious gang group, Sons of Anarchy kind of feels, and you go through their journey of how they get together, what other people think of their relationship, and yeah, I actually really liked the book. I thought it was very well done. I didn't feel like it was creepy predator vibes, with like some age gap books that I have read. This was like kind of more understanding. I have met people in real life who have met when they were like way younger, like in an age gap, and it's platonic, and then they grow up. Anywho, these were my recommendations, or what I did read for the month of February. I'm already on to my next series. I'm reading the Ravenhood series. If you've read that one, leave a comment down below if you thought it was really good. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments down below what you thought. I hope you guys all have a great day. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, know when I'm posting next. If you want recommendations pretty early on, make sure you head on over to my Instagram, follow me there. I love you guys oh so much. Have a great day. Mwah! Bye!
Turning out to be a perfect day. I just wanna leave our normal lives behind us. So let's get